given that all the parties on the left, and like, we're not here to debate this policy, but it's the reality, their position is to phase out Canada's energy sector and to prevent oil from coming out of the ground over the long term. So if we are in a situation where we see anything other than a majority Conservative government, it's over for my province. That's how people see it. So unless the parties on the left start waking up to the reality that the energy sector in Canada promotes jobs, growth, builds hospitals, provides state-run daycare in Quebec, we're going to have a real problem here. I'm so furious that we're at this point in the campaign and the Alberta economy, it's just like, oh, it's some flippant issue. This is the heart of the Canadian economy. And I'm not even going to speculate on a minority government because I'm going to put everything that I have on the table for the people in my community going coast to coast to say, look, you have to care about Alberta and you have to care about people in my community. Full stop.
It is interesting as well, Angela, because the Premier of Alberta, Jason Kenney, who Michelle knows, is in Ontario today campaigning on behalf of Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives as well. We actually had Brad Wall on the show earlier this week, former Premier of Saskatchewan, who also raised the issue of a Liberal NDP coalition and what that would do to Alberta and Saskatchewan and what that would do to the country as well. Are you at all worried about what might happen if it ends up being a Liberal minority government supported by Jagmeet Singh and the NDP for national unity, let's say?
No, of course not. So I have lots of family. I'm actually from Saskatchewan originally, and I have family that work in the oil sands. And Michelle's picture is a little bit hyperbolic, let me say.
It's not.
What people in Alberta would get is actual investment in the people who live in Alberta. I think like one of the first things that Jason
said we
Kenney
should
did,
be importing more Saudi oil.
Michelle, come on. Okay.
Well,
so
you
the
just
first
called
thing
me
that Jason Kenney did was provide. Michelle, can you let me finish, please? That's very rude. I have a point. One of the first things that Jason Kenney did was cut taxes for corporations. He provided a huge tax cut to the wealthiest people that provided no return for regular Albertans. And he's cutting classrooms, he's cutting healthcare, he's doing everything in Alberta that Doug Ford is doing here, which is terrible for the economy. What Rachel Notley did when she was the premier was she recognized the reality that fossil fuels are not going to be what propels our economy in the future. And so we need to start building an economy of the future for the people in Alberta. And she started doing that. She started providing alternative jobs. She started giving
like what?
Regional economic development funds to communities like in Hannah. We had the Just Transition Task Force that visited communities and talked about what they needed.
And how many jobs
in order to have a prosperous. Michelle, this is absurd.
It is absurd.
I'm not
what
running
you're saying,
against
because
you.
there's a lot of people out of work in my province.
I understand that, but do you know that your province still has a higher GDP per capita than Nova Scotia's, and you're expecting people in Digby, Nova Scotia, to feel sorry for you?
All right,
but we give equalization payments to the rest of the country. And I do want people to recognize the downturn in our economy. What you're saying is entitled,
but we want to provide a solution for Alberta. We want to provide a real solution for Albertans that will provide them good jobs. My brother-in-law that works in the oil sands would rather work in a clean job. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm saying that they're carbon intensive,
our jobs dirty,
and we can't continue to do those jobs.
But we need carbon.
We have to provide a new economy.
Carbon. Why aren't we using
Michelle,
Canadian
you're
carbon?
hurting them by refusing to recognize that the economy is changing.
No.
Michelle, the economy is changing. We have to change with it.
We still need carbon.
We can't stick our heads in the sand and ignore it. And we will still have carbon, Michelle.
So why would we bring in more Saudi or Venezuela?
So we still have carbon.
Your party leader said that we should be importing more Saudi oil.
Michelle,
all right,
I don't even know what your name is.
What is it again? Because I just
want
to give.
This isn't productive. You're just every time you talk, you're talking over top of me.